Marty and I have been playing in bands for all through high school, and I think since we were like 15, 16 years old. And then came time to like go to college, and we came up to Boston. Basically because we wanted to keep playing music, but we
almost went to Berklee College of Music.
Yeah, which would have been a huge mistake.
Shit.
But the idea for us was that we would come to Boston and form a band and continue to play. And but we had to go to college too. But that was fine. And we got up here, it was like way harder than we thought it was going to be. Couldn't find people, kind of sucked. Putting up stupid flyers everywhere. You get the most crazy people show up to your...
You get people who actually went to Berklee.
Yeah,
showing
right.
Up,
the Berkeleyites were the worst. And so we were always trying out people, and it was just it was always the most bizarre experience. We tried out, I don't know, probably tried out like 15 people. We actually played with certain people for certain amounts of time,
and then
had to like
ask them to
just
leave.
Be like, hey, it's not working out.
Where's the one bass player you had?
Hector.
What was his
his claim to fame?
His claim to fame, right. Yeah, one of the guys from Berklee, his claim to fame was that he could play the Spin Doctors song. He could play the bass parts and the melody at the same time. So he'd be like, ba-dun-dun, ba-dun-dun-dun-dun. So anyway.
That was what he...
Let's call you baby. Yeah. Just go ahead.
That's how he was impressing us.
That's how he was trying to impress us. And anyway, so we were more interested in, and like before coming up, and we started to obviously get, and you'll see it in every single review, we getting Spaceman 3 and like Spiritualized, and it's kind of more noisier stuff. When we were in high school, we were playing more popular stuff. So we started to just want to make a lot of noise, and these Berkeleyites would come up and just wouldn't be that.
Wouldn't understand, really.
They wouldn't understand what the hell we were doing. No one would know what the hell we were doing. So I think we put the final flyer up, and Dave Goodman, who's not here, and Adam Brilla came over, and I don't know if they came over separately, but one night they were there together, and they were both just like, yeah, we saw Spaceman 3 and blah blah blah. I don't know.
What
you remember?
Something sold you on it.
Yeah, we sold them somehow. They actually knew, like Skullflower.
I think it was Skullflower.
Yeah, it was like Skullflower, and
it was just the fact that was so random to anyone else.
When things sort of started getting healthy again, we started having to learn how to use the equipment, and so it was a long time just learning how to record ourselves, because the last two albums were recorded by other people, and
yeah,
we basically
we always like
co-produced or whatever.
Produced it. We always had a sense of like what we wanted to sound like, but we weren't actually working.
Yeah. We weren't engineering it or mixing on the actual mixing board when it was.
So. Right. Once we started to get our shit together again, we.
So there was a learning curve there. A lot of help came from Matt Morand, from Charlene.
The Charlene guys, and
who's the Shark Attack.
Obviously, yeah, the studio here in the house, which you can't see, but we practice here too. It's kind of a good scene right now. We just have everything in this one location, and the new record, which we just gave you, which you haven't heard.
And a PlayStation.
We did everything, like literally everything from beginning to end, design, production, engineering, everything, with help from the Charlene guys. And so
yeah, a lot of help, but it's definitely
it was an earthquake.
Definitely like DIY scene is really like we did every single little aspect of this thing. ourselves, which is
Yeah.
just excruciatingly painful sometimes. And you kind of just want to give it away, just do it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if we would do it the same way again next time. But
Yeah,
it's rewarding. Well, hopefully it'll be rewarding. Sometimes I actually worry because I'll play Marty something, and he'll be like, "That's beautiful. That's perfect. I know exactly what you're talking about." And sometimes I'm just like, "Well, will anyone else know what I'm talking about?" I don't know if he's responding because he's lived the same, very similar, or the same life as me. So I don't know if he's just responding to the words that I'm saying. So sometimes I actually worry, but I think definitely we have that.
sometimes it's
connection.
It's very counterintuitive though, like almost like sometimes live. I have no idea what you're trying to communicate on stage, and sometimes I just can't believe that we've been playing this long together. And he's
I'll try to
he's
say
saying,
something.
"Speed it up," and I'm like, "Stop, slow it down," and
you
then
always
stop.
think it's the opposite thing.
Yeah,
I'm like, speed it up.
So yeah, this
start slowing down. So it's weird.
It's not a pure mental
it's not a pure
telepathy
thing
going on.
But you have to say, I mean, when we're recording and stuff, it's like many times we're like, well,
if he's going for a certain sound, then I know exactly what he's talking about.
right.
A lot, but yeah.
There's a big, in terms of like, even just finding places to practice, like there's a few rehearsal complexes, and that it's sort of like, if you really want to be in a band and you really want to do it, either you have to have a situation like this where there's not a lot of neighbors to complain about playing, but a lot of people,
Which is pretty rare.
yeah, a lot of bands in Boston, people live in Boston, they work in Boston, and places like Allston or even downtown, and there's not really a situation where you could have loud amps and drums in your house or your apartment, and so you're in these rehearsal spaces, and which can be just
trucks.
Yeah,
just
you need
as
to have trucks
expensive
surrounding your
as
house.
rent on your apartment, so you're
Yeah, that's the thing.
you're spending $400, $500 on rehearsal space every month, and so
That's why you gotta live with this, and then you can play loud.
so that sort of necessity, like, it's a necessity that you have a steady source of income to pay for these rehearsal spaces, so it's maybe more day job, less time for playing and touring, and I think bands tend to play, sort of hang around the Boston area more if you're from Boston, as opposed to really going out on tour.
It is a little bit of a trap. It's like you can't get out to tour because you can't quit the job that's paying for your high rent and high rehearsal space rent. And so, I don't know, I think if you're not in like the ideal situation where the label's like paying your way, or which is I think rare too, but paying your way, or like you're getting this great booking agent that's sending you out on these long tours where you actually break even or make money, then you kind of do get stuck in a little bit of a trap here, I think, because it's just so expensive. But there's certainly worse places to like try to form a band, I'm sure. Because you wouldn't find any musicians that would have any clue. Yeah. Even though we were talking earlier about how like you get all these crazy people, but you can find your, you can find your niche eventually, I guess. The last record was just a culmination of just, I don't know, frustrations, and I don't know how you would put it, but I guess it was just a little bit darker.
It's darker, yeah.
You could say.
It's just sunnier and poppier album.
Poppier, still has the noise element. I don't really think, I don't know, I think we're still the same band. I don't want to say we've evolved, because I don't think the last record is any worse than this record, you know what I mean? To say evolved kind of implies that you're improving or something. I think we're still kind of doing the same thing. I mean, I like the direction we're going in, because it's something I always wanted to do, and we got a little bogged down in the noise on the last record and stuff. So
yeah,
I'm a fan of, like, pop.
Yeah, I mean, our earlier influences are all pretty poppy. I mean, like Smiths and early REM and stuff like that were and The Cure were our favorite bands, and I wouldn't say this sounds like any of them, but
no,
it's almost like a marriage between the two things, like almost like,
that's
maybe
really
a more Smiths concise poppiness with like some little bit of noise, My Bloody Valentine influence.
Spaceman 3.
The songs are definitely more concise together. Hopefully
shorter.
No wasted space, no wasted notes, no wasted time on the songs. So, and the album itself is like that too. It's quick and it's loud.
I told you don't need an alarm clock around here. This is what I'm talking about. Wake up every morning to this.
I was wondering why he's laughing. He's laughing
every morning.
The trick, the thing with Lockgroove is we're always so hyper focused on what we're doing, whether it's working on songs or recording the record that we want to make. So, this record, like we said earlier, was all done by us with the help of our friends and our friend's studio, at our own pace, and it's been designed, manufactured, you know, released. You know, everything is done by us in the band or the guys from Charlene, and so
Shark Attack.
In the Shark Attack label. So, you know, we're doing. I mean, it's more, you know, again, kind of cliche, but it's basically for us, and you know, it's like all the money that's being spent on this record is our money that we've made from our day jobs, and we're just doing it because we love it, you know. There's no outside influences really, you know. I mean, we hired like a press and publicity company, but again, that was sort of basically on the strength of, you know, we sent them demos of the record and they wanted to work with us. So, but in terms of like money for recording was basically funded by us. So
we have our own studio.
Right, we have our own studio.
Actually, we can't claim it ours.
Matt's and
Randy's
studio,
but
Matt doesn't live here.
Yeah,
so it's
we
sort of
doesn't
like
know what we're doing. We kicked him out.
And you know, we'd like to have people buy the record and enjoy it, but really for us, just making the record was the accomplishment, and it's, you know, having it done is its own reward.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we'll change our story when 5,000 copies get returned to us in the spring.
We want to sell some records.
But and then also in terms of touring, I think what you were saying about the decline of record sales and radio play and things like that, you know, overall, it just, you know, I think what a lot of people have always done is just, I mean, you don't really need a record to go on tour. You don't need ads in magazines. You don't need to be, you know, played on the radio. I mean, I know countless bands that have just toured the country, you know, just networks of bands setting up shows in people's basements or, you know, renting a hall and, you know, doing it that way. I think that's really where, you know, playing music and touring sprung out of, is just, you know, a desire of people to connect and enjoy music that they love and find out about new stuff. And I think, you know, the important thing is just bands getting out there, playing music, and not worrying about all the other extraneous things. And
like money.
Right.
Thanks a lot, everyone.